Hi, good evening, and welcome back to our weekly podcast. My name is Denny Lavin, and I am here with Sheldon CPU and one of our executives, Mr. David Babbush. We want to thank everybody who have been continuously logging in, listening to our podcast, liking, sharing, leaving your comments. We really appreciate it. Without further ado, I would be passing this podcast over to Sheldon, where we're going to talk a little more with David and discuss Spinnet USA. Over to you, sir, and welcome back again, Sheldon, and welcome, David, to this podcast.
Thank you.
And thank you.
You're welcome, guys.
David, welcome to our little space.
It is an absolute privilege to be here, and thank you for inviting me. I'm excited to hopefully share appropriately and contribute positively. So I can't express that enough. Thank you.
Oh, that's wonderful. I think you have been contributing positively since we have been on this journey. It's about 2.5 to 3 years now. So you want to share your version of how you came into contact with HomingPIN and myself?
I'd be happy to. I had the privilege of connecting with you, Sheldon, through some LinkedIn solicitation or connectivity. In my former business, one of my partners was NBA Hall of Famer, Los Angeles Laker, North Carolina Tar Heel, #1 pick, James Worthy, and through some of his and my outreach, we connected on LinkedIn. And this was in the middle of the pandemic, so it was very interesting. And some of the experiences and connectivity and nature in which we all tried to stay a bit normal. Literally in my garage, I had set up a little bit of a studio and was doing Zooms, and one of my very first ones, venturing into this virtual networking organization, you and I connected, Sheldon, and I think we hit it off rather quickly, and I think it's super significant when you can align with humans and find some commonality regardless of background, geography, experiences, music, sports. There's different things that really bring so many people together from so many different walks of life. And as we connected and learned more about each other, to the depths of our families and age of children, and again, geography, whether we were talking about weather and a storm coming or what our interests in business, and we got deeper into our relationship. You had shared with me about HomingPIN, and in some capacity, we had mutually agreed that let's see how we can help each other grow HomingPIN. I mean, it's unbelievable, and if you think about it, it's a larger analogy or illustration of connecting with somebody as obscure as me being in Los Angeles, you being in the islands, and the internet or virtual business connected us. And if somebody, and I hadn't thought of this till now, but somebody, and I'm sure you'll get into it, but somebody loses a valuable possession and HomingPIN, PIN it, USA, it brings that item, that possession, back to a person. It's going to happen through a very similar virtual connection. And not to go too deep on it, but as I reflect back, it's amazing how similar those paths could run or be compared. And so, in putting a little bow on your question, I think a little bit of fate, a little bit of timing, a little bit of assimilation, comfort, spending the time to learn more about each other and what we do and our backgrounds brought us together to this point of now being in business together, building a company.
I agree with you on that. I remember speaking to James, and he said, I know who you should talk to. And he pointed me in your direction. He said, I'm James Woody, but if you want to get, connected, etc., and he pointed me directly towards you. I think like the first couple of days we spoke on the Zoom, outside of the Zoom, and really learned about each other. We didn't really talk business as such. We learned each other, and the M3 was about connecting people, and it was just about, hey, let me help you, whatever way I can, and and vice versa. It was seamless. It didn't feel like a business transaction. It was much warmer and that type of thing. So it just felt, the connection felt natural to me. It really wasn't difficult at all. You have a wonderful family. And it's amazing that during the pandemic, what you realize is that your life and someone else's life doesn't have that many differences. It has more nuances, but it doesn't have differences.
That I agree with, and reflecting deeper and further is, you're right. We had very few initial conversations about business, and we went into whether it's what our DNA is, our subconscious. I don't want to go crazy and sideways here, but we for whatever reason, if I can try to sound hip, which I struggle with quite often, but I think I'm cooler than I am, that we were vibing in laying the foundation for what a relationship meant, and we probably didn't even think about it, but very quickly, I think, through enough experiences, whether it's family and personal, or friendships and business, you start to get to a point where you can identify, hey, this might have some path. I don't know what that path is, but I'm willing to spend some more time investing in that and becoming vested if it comes to fruition, or respectful pass. And so I think that the time, place, space, you and I have spent a lot of time talking about sports. It's almost time and score. The most effective athletes at whatever level, when they understand time and score, it enables them to make better or best or the right decision in that moment. And so I'll use the analogies. I did pin it and then now sports, but these are things for you and me where we built our relationship and why we're probably here on this podcast in the moment.
Yep. Because when we met, there wasn't a pin it. Right? We were talking about any business that we did speak in that line was how to do HomingPIN, what to do with it. So there wasn't a Pin It USA at that point in time. Pin It USA came to be later on. Right? For months we didn't have a Pin It USA when we met. Eventually the company Pin It USA came about. We spent a lot of time talking about from food to to sport to university to everything else. Meeting my people, and I getting to know your people as well, that kind of thing. Your friends, who still are friends that I stay in touch with today. So, yeah, and you're right. Sometimes that this path is going to take you somewhere. You're not too sure where, and all you need to do is just invest that time and then most importantly, enjoy the views on that path and enjoy the journey.
Yep, no doubt. And in looking back, I think it represents the culture that we would like to and aspire to create in the organization, and that is being relational and not transactional, right? It could be perceived as a little bit cliche, but we want that with partners, ad agencies, marketing, vendors, shipping and receiving, and then ultimately, right, it's about our customer satisfaction and retention of customers and retention of team members and being genuine and building relationships. It's not up to me or to you or our company to assess value to somebody's phone, laptop, luggage, whatever it may be, backpack. It could be the smallest, least significant item to you and me. But you know what? It's important enough for that person who owns it to put a tag on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And incorporate themselves into a reliable relationship platform. Because if it was transactional, nobody would give a you-know-what about it, and it's next up. But that's not our job to say what item means what to you. I've always, being a restaurant guy operating multiple units and having hundreds of team members and building a team of leaders that help nurture and guide and coach and drive business forward, is that you got to engage and care. And it's not up to me, restaurant-wise, if somebody buys a soda for $2, let's call it a fountain drink, right? Or they get a $200 or $300 catering order. Whatever it is, the value of the dollar that person spends is what we have to relate to and respect. Hence, going back to relationship building and not being transactional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I totally want the company that way. Um, we actually never even had a conversation on profit. It was has always been on how we can build it, who we can work with, and what would that be like. Rather than what we can put in our pockets. I don't think we have had that conversation yet. Even that we are this far down the path. It's like, okay, yes, it's going to be profitable, but nobody on board, and that is a nice thing, that we don't have anybody on board who is sitting counting dollars, from the next 2 years or something like that. It's all about people who want to be create that sort of family type environment where we really care about each other, and stand up for each other and with each other, you know, to get it done. And once that's it, then Pinit is going to continue to be fun.
Yeah. You all.
I agree. And also, I'm going to make that what you just shared, that analogy with sports, and I'll use the Lakers and James Worthy. Mr. Jerry Buss, original owner of the Lakers in Los Angeles, and he wanted the best talent. He wanted to put on the best show. He had his family with them. You never, ever have heard the Lakers worry about salary cap.
No.
When you put the right players on the team in the right place, because sometimes you have the right person in the wrong seat, and you just got to navigate that a little bit and massage it. But at the end, when you have the right people operating with integrity and communicating appropriately, I think, to your point, Sheldon, that then you're talking about an organization that is genuine, it matters, sales grow, and when sales grow, as we all know, profit flows. And like I said, I struggle to be hip, but grow and flow rhyme.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to bust that out.
Yeah, you're rolling with it now, man.
Well, you did great in getting me to relax and get comfortable, because as you know, that's a real struggle for me.
You're doing great, David.
I wouldn't. You keep say you have said that more than once to me, but in your past role, I still say how you ran M3. To me, I don't think anybody ever felt uncomfortable, not heard. I think everybody enjoyed coming to the platform, you know, knowing that you're there. You really I have seen you taking care of so many people, um, you know, almost to a fault on yourself. Very
Yeah,
self.
no, right. You bring up a really good point. Now, when I share it with you, as we've grown our relationship, I'm comfortable. It is sarcasm, and I'm very aware that sometimes when joking or sarcastic, there's still a little bit of truth, right?
Yeah.
And with that said, though, you are right, and I am as well, that I'm comfortable, but I do care what people think. A little bit what they think of me, but that's not that important. That's just selfish. And it's just, if you have a little bit of care somewhere in your heart and head, then you naturally have a little bit of, am I doing this okay? With that said, my family says, could you please shut up, and why are you making friends like that everywhere we go? So I'm totally 100% comfortable, but I do care how it goes. And I'm going to bring that back to business again. I think I do have, and this isn't about me, it's about us and the organization, but we all have to evaluate our toolbox and what we bring to the table. I do have an ability somehow, and I really don't know what it is. Maybe it's my parents. Maybe it's my family that I grew up with, my siblings. Maybe it's my wife and our daughters, and maybe it's our dogs. Maybe it's relationships and loving sports, and I don't know what. I think I bring in little nuggets from all those places, and it gives me this toolbox or skill set to tap into people. Oh, I also care, though. I pardon my language, but I can bullshit, but I'm not a bullshitter. So I think I probably have a little bit humbly gift of gab and getting to know people and engaging. And I think that, along with some organizational and operational experiences and structure, help me help the company. And that is what I try to bring to the table. And as you know, I'll have some constructive candor. Shout out to one of my old friends, Drew Kugler, who taught me that saying. But constructive candor in saying, hey, where are we at with that? Does that seem right to you? Here's what I feel. Just having open, honest dialogue that isn't personal. So when you have that ability to open up the door, build a relationship, I think it elevates to the next level of, okay, we've built trust. And I'm asking or challenging or sharing from a perspective of trust and integrity. So I do poke a little fun at myself. It's part of the shtick, if you will, or the routine. It matters to me how people feel in getting comfortable, just like a customer in a business. I want them to be comfortable, to relax. And I think that is hopefully what is one of my assets that helped you identify in inviting me to this amazing team.
Oh yeah, that's actually your secret sauce. It's I still marvel at how much you care, how you bring it across, how comfortable you make people feel. Um, it's it's a skill, you know. It, it it's at a skill level that that's like a master class. You remember I've been with you on a number of onboarding interviews and that sort of thing. So I am talking from a real a point of view that I don't think many might have had, being able to really sit virtually next to you while you had some of these interviews and stuff, and the fact that you're this warm, you're actually candid when you can bullshit, but you're not a bullshitter. Um, it's really who you are, and still, I can tell you, I have seen you reach out and extend, you know, yourself to to so many others. Um, First, rather than chase the next $100 or something like that, and that side of you is the side of you that I really love. That side of you where you're not going to put that $50 in front of a person and probably trying to help that person or trying to get something bigger going, that kind of thing. Because I guess that I saw that even after I made the decision to, that we should be business partners in this. And that just like cemented it in my mind that, yeah, you made the right choice in terms of asking David to be on board. And when you actually said yes, I was like, well, yeah, this is great because a great company is really made up of great people. It's not the product. It's the people behind the product.
True.
So true, and I heard the true subtly back there. Don't be scared. But it is, and I think that is where instead of it being about who I am is let's maybe chat for a moment about when you identify, the right people, you as CEO and the leader, you gotta and know who to bring, who not to, how to hold accountable, how to grow, how to shift and assist, how to adjust, how to evaluate, hey, are we going to be insane here and try the same thing over and over and know it's not working? I mean, I could go on, as you know, but when you build a team and communicate and are real about it, I think things happen to take care of themselves at a greater level or add more value or enhance growth and awareness of a brand. And I think people now more than ever respect real versus a brand and go, they're just selling me something. People are smart. Yeah. They're more savvy than ever. Yeah. And so if you disrespect that, it isn't no thanks. It's you've insulted me or them. And then it becomes exponentially more difficult to recover that potential customer, partner, whatever it may be. So I just have always watched my father, frankly, 85-year-old man with Parkinson's that is fighting the good fight and doing well. And he and I, on a regular basis, we just sometimes break down a business or talk about interaction with another human and how that went. And he always worked his butt off, and it was for himself because he loved it. And he, for me, established what it means to be of integrity, a family man, have true friendships, not superficial ones, true, genuine friendships. You know, the one when you get to call your friend and say, you're my friend, you're my family, I got to choose, right? That's the definition of friendship to me. Family I got to choose, not was born into. And you say, I got this problem, whether it's small or large, and you can just even chat it out, or they'll listen and they know who you are. That's the culture as well that you want a company to not only be about, but represent. The days of bullshit, again, pardon my language, or a brand that doesn't back up who they are, what they do, they're gonna fail miserably, very expeditiously. And so instead of harping on what somebody wouldn't be, I enjoy looking at it from what has created who I am, which in turn for me gives me my lens on perspective for a business or an opportunity that, number one, I might get invited to, number two, I would choose to become associated with, because, right, takes two to tango, and you can always get the invite, or conversely, aspire to be part of something and never get the invite. Yes, I know I could go on and on. It's part of what it is. But I hope it's giving perspective to you all and for anybody that is caring to tune in, because I do know that's, for you, Sheldon, the culture you aspire for our organization to become and exist in.
Yeah. Again, one of the mottos that we are carrying forward is friend and found,
Yeah.
and hashtag mad love. In that hashtag mad love for one another within Pinit, and hashtag for everybody we connect with, whether it's a vendor, a partner, someone in marketing, licensing, it doesn't matter. I want a company that is based on, love for one another, that we know, hey, this is not just the guy I sit to on a desk next to me. This is my brother, my sister. We have each other's back. We understand each other. And that will leave us and go outwards with the company
Yeah.
and everything that we touch. I want us to touch people. And this is one thing about the product and service, is that, as you alluded to earlier, I find your stuff and report it, so you contact me. That connection that is made there with us pushing that love and positivity behind it is also going to connect them. This is going to be your new friend who found your camera, or whatever the item was. This is a new friend you would make
Yeah.
at that point. And that would allow, to connect the world, in a very positive way, through the product. That to me is the main aspect of the product. Yeah, we get your lost item back, your lost valuable back, but we get it back to you, and we allow you the opportunity to create a friendship. Not just get it back. You're able now to create a friendship out of getting your item back, and that's the scenario that I see. That's how I envision it. That's what I want.
Yeah, that's
It's
great.
amazing. And so I'm super thankful, appreciative of being given an opportunity to communicate with you all, share some perspective, and it truly is a privilege to be associated, and not just, again, transactional, but even to the level of being here and just having dialogue with, by the way, nothing prepared.
Yes.
I'm thinking, I asked you a couple or three times, Sheldon, what are we doing? And you're like, you'll be fine. And I then moved into, trust mode. And we're going to do this. And yet again, you came through, and hopefully I provided some value. But I think it's an illustration of a foundation for us to build trust with our future customers. We're not winging it, don't get me wrong, in our business space, but I appreciate being able to speak from the heart and unscripted, because that's where genuine behavior, sharing, relationships begin.
Correct.
So thank you. It's a privilege.
And it's a privilege knowing you, my friend. As we are looking to wrap this in a bow, we could call this part one. We you know, I expect this podcast to reveal the behind the scenes, and not the behind the scenes or the books that we do or decisions that we make, but the relationships that we build within this company. Because I want people to know really what we stand for, which is why it's unscripted. Because I want people to realize that we are not just a bunch of people, that come together behind a dollar sign or something like that. That we are actually a group of people that really trust each other, care for each other, and our product is based on that as well. And this is what the company is about. I rather the company be known for that. That is what I want. I have people, amazing people like yourself, around me, so it keeps me. I wake up in the morning, and the people I work with is enough to recharge my battery to go all day and get what has to be done, because hey, I'm laying the foundation to be around this group of wonderful people within this company. Yourself, Philip, Duval, Daniil, Martin, Clark. It's such a warm, amazing bunch of people that it's something you look forward to every day.
Yeah. It was really heartwarming to hear the story of how you guys connected. And I've always regretted not being on the M3 platform, because I understood what you were doing and so forth. It just, at that point in time when you were doing it, I just wasn't in the know. All right, about what was really taking place there and how to invite. I didn't know Sheldon at that point in time yet. But I understand you did really, really great work with M3, and you seem like such a really, really genuine person. That's what we're building the brand on, because everybody basically within the company who I know, they're just so warm and bubbly. You can always get the truth from them. And that's how we present the information to the public. So all of our podcast has been unscripted. Yes, so this is even specifically for Mark, who Sheldon tends to taunt all the time. There are no scripts. We don't really write down anything and practice or rehearse. It's just like, let's do a podcast. We'll do it on this particular topic. And sometimes it's like on the fly. Sheldon will just come up with a topic and we'll just go with it.
No, it's amazing, and don't have any regret. Like I said, time and score. So
Yeah.
timing for a lot of people matters, and I'm super appreciative that you think enough to share that, but you could funnel that energy into other places, and so I think it's a big, massive feather in Sheldon's cap that he's identifying and building, identifying people and building a team that can deliver on what you just shared. So, it's humbling. It's, like I said, a privilege. I probably don't need to repeat that word again. Otherwise, it might become some form of a drinking game, because it's repetitive, and we don't want to do that. So, I'm thankful for an opportunity to just be a small part of something like this. If 15 or 1,500 or 15,000 hear it, I I think we all learn and grow each day, and whether we know it or not, we pick up a nugget here or there, or a little something that helps us, and add it to our pile of our why, our motivation, our success, based on whatever one scale is for that. And if you continue to surround yourself with the right people in the right place at the right time, I think things happen to take care of themselves. I'm a big believer in karma, and I think you get back what you put off, and treat others as you want to be treated, and we're doing our best at that, then it's of integrity. And I think at the end of the day, that's what we're thriving for. So I'm not going to use the P word, privilege, but I am going to say thank you, and I extend major love and respect for letting me be a small part of the platform here.
Anytime, David. I mean, we are one family, and the aim really is for all the executives to have a moment on the podcast to share their story as to how they came in contact with HomingPIN. So, heads up to Duval and Philip and Clark and the rest of the team. I really like how
cool.
you're authentic.
It's cool. The library or the series, go knock it out, Sheldon. Line it up, and then when you get through everybody, we need a group one.
Correct.
And let's just shoot the shit in a fun, enjoyable, motivating. Hey, you remember when? And hey, also, you got to understand, we challenged each other. It was serious, but on the journey, if we can't enjoy what we need to do, then move along. Maybe wrong place, wrong time. Score in time, right? Score in place.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, David, have a wonderful evening. Don't forget, you still have a Friday evening barbecue for me and a yacht ride.
Be careful. I'm going to have people ordering food. It happens.
I know.
Really, I'm telling you. But it's really, it's fun. You be careful. You might get addicted to what I cook, and then it's going to be real danger zone. But keep going, my man, and thank you. I think from the islands, it's respect, Mom.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
I agree, man.
Yeah, David, it was really, really awesome having you on the program this evening. We'll definitely be doing another one with you soon. And, I just want to say thank you for all the loyal listeners, even the new listeners who join in. I hope you enjoyed this segment. For those of you who might be new and wondering which islands David is making reference to, it's Trinidad and Tobago, one of the very, very hottest islands right now. It is so humid. No joke. All right, we really appreciate you all. Thank you, Sheldon, again for another opportunity to share this podcast with you. You entertaining as always. Any last words before we close out, Sheldon or David?
I'll let Sheldon go last, so I'll say cheers and respect and thank you.
Cheers, David.
Yeah, I would just echo David's sentiments. Cheers, respect. We'd be having, we already lined up another podcast. We'll be having Andrew Hopwood soon, the guy that invented HomingPIN. So That is going to be very interesting.
Yes, I look forward to that one. Again, thank you, and I wish you all a wonderful week. Stay good, stay tuned in. Mad love for Peanuts USA, mad love for travel tags. Have a good evening, and we'll see you again soon. Take care.